Kia ora, good evening. The official cash rate has remained unchanged today by the Reserve Bank, largely due to low inflation. The decision to keep the OCR on hold at 3.5%, where it's been since July, follows the Federal Reserve's statement that economic growth was above average during 2014. Strong construction activity, surging immigration and historically low interest rates all supporting the central bank's decision to keep interest rates on hold. The housing market has become less of a concern for the Reserve Bank, with house prices growth falling significantly since late 2013, with both higher interest rates and lending restrictions having an effect. Reserve Bank Governor Graham Wheeler says a period of assessment remains appropriate before considering further policy adjustment. Wood Energy South is a $1.5 million government-funded project to convert commercial boilers to wood energy. The Southland pilot was launched today. In June, the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Authority, or ECA, announced it would partner with Venture Southland for the 3-year life of the project. Several Southland businesses and schools have converted to wood energy options. One of those is McCallum's Dry Cleaners.
We needed to become more competitive with our steam production, and oil and gas at the time was too expensive. So we researched other options. Although at the time lignite or coal was a cheaper option, we made a conscious decision that wood would be a way of the future and that it would be more environmentally friendly. And that was our main motivator.
Which is key, really, isn't it, with clean air? Clean air is a priority now for the government and certainly Environment Southland. Yeah,
very, very much. And waste wood brings money into town, whereas most of costs are from outside of Invercargill when you're burning the likes of oil and gas. So it ticks all the boxes.
What are you actually doing with the wood energy here? How much of the plant is reliant on it?
Virtually the whole plant. So for a starter, we use the wood in the boiler to produce steam, and then the emissions that go up the chimney, the flue gases that go up the chimney, we then use our wastewater to clean the emissions, and then we collect the heat from all of that, which produces hot water. So it's a very efficient process in general.
And relatively maintenance free?
Yeah, yes. As we've developed our thinking and developed techniques and that, we've virtually got it down to a very minimum level of maintenance, and about 20-30 kgs of ash a week, so disposal, because we reburn all our ash. Except for the 20 kgs.
It sounds like you're recommending this as a possibility for other enterprises to have a look at.
Very much, very much. I believe that it is a good option, and I think it should be considered by people who are looking to upgrade equipment in the future for all the right reasons.
The gateway to Fiordland, Te Anau, has been voted as the town outdoor lovers would most like to move to. More than 1,000 readers of Wilderness magazine voted Te Anau as the best place in New Zealand to live if you love tramping and the great outdoors. Te Anau racked up 40% of the total vote, with Nelson coming in second and Wanaka third. Wilderness editor Alistair Hall said Fiordland National Park is a huge asset for the town, along with Mavora Lakes and the Takatimu Mountains nearby. He says the community spirit and safe environment for bringing up kids also struck him during a recent visit. Praise today for boating passengers wearing life jackets over a busy Labour weekend on the water. However, several skippers taking unnecessary risks had led to several boats needing assistance to get to shore on Lake Te Anau. Checking the weather and knowing how to find shelter in rough conditions on lakes is crucial for boating safety.
We had a couple of instances there where boaties decided to go out in quite rough conditions on the lake, and they could have quite easily have gotten into trouble. And certainly we did have one instance of boaties being out, and they got caught and had to be guided in by much bigger vessels back to the marina.
In those situations where it does cut up rough on a lake, how much warning do boaties get?
No, generally you don't get much warning at all, but we always say that always check the weather forecast. If in doubt, don't go out. That's the catchphrase we have. And and it's part of the skipper responsibility. Always check the weather prior to going out, and if you are caught in that situation, seek shelter and always call for help.
Just on safety issues, we have a bylaw here already where you have to wear a life jacket. Were people adhering to that over the weekend?
Oh, definitely. The lakes, we see a lot of families there, and generally they're very safety orientated. So we even seen vessels going out that not required to wear life jackets, but they still wore life jackets. So it's very pleasing to see that.
As far as checks around the south go, coming into the boating season, you'll be actively out there looking for people, checking on their boating conditions? Oh,
definitely, and we really come from a boating education angle first, rather than infringement notices, but they're always there as a tool if we need to use them, of course, but we're there to help people be safe on the water and make them or help them enjoy their experience. And we'll be looking to make sure people are wearing correctly fitted life jackets, because if you're wearing an ill-fitting life jacket and you end up in the water, then it may not be as effective as a proper fitting life jacket.
The Ellis Road Skate Park will hold an open day on Saturday and will include demonstrations, competitions, a barbecue and a DJ. Representatives from Scooter Pro and Element Skateboards will be providing demonstrations and competitions, and there will be free skate time for everyone to do their thing. The park was closed in March this year to begin a $750,000 upgrade, turning it into a new multi-purpose facility. Community Development Officer Mary Napper says people have responded well to the park since it was made available again for public use in May. She says it's popular with anyone who uses a skateboard, a scooter or a trick bike, and with those who just want to watch and soak up the atmosphere. The open day starts Saturday 11 o'clock and finishes at 4 p.m. Stay with us. Coming up in the bulletin is now the time to consolidate the city's artworks. We look at the future of Anderson Park and the Southland Museum. Welcome back. City-based architect Bob Simpson says the Invercargill City Council should consider all the options before embarking on work at Anderson Park. Mr Simpson says more people have seen the gallery's art since the historic venue was closed in January because of earthquake concerns.
I think that people are overreacting about the earthquake, but until the laws actually changed, I don't think we should be doing anything serious. But I think that Anderson Park has the potential to be a really good venue for period furniture and old artwork, and it should be thought of in that regard. And I have a bias because I believe the artwork would be better off in town combined with the two collections that are in this building, the museum behind me.
It's not a bad gallery though, is it? I mean,
Anderson Park?
Yes.
I think it's actually an inappropriate gallery. Often modern art requires large spaces, high ceilings, a large door to get in. And so many people are in love with the building, as it's quite common for people to love old buildings, but I think that isn't a good reason to have the art there. But the gallery itself own a good collection. But I've been fortunate to be at the opening in Gore recently of the East and Southland Art Gallery, where as a result of the Anderson Park being closed, their art's getting better displayed. And so there's an exhibition in Gore, it was just finishing in fact, called The Perfect Match, where half the paintings are from the East and Southland Art Gallery and half are from Anderson Park, and the curators of both venues have worked together to create this Perfect Match exhibition. And so I've seen quite a lot of Anderson's Park work I hadn't seen before, and there's also Anderson's Park work on the Inner City Gallery at the moment. So I think more people have seen the art as a result of the building being closed than when it was open. For things to be viable, they have to have a sort of a use. And so I think the art is more needed in town to make the inner city viable. If the inner city isn't viable, our whole council infrastructure is at risk. So I propose that we have different venues in Invercargill in the short term, but in the longer term that we perhaps should have a newer venue. But I think that the current plan to spend $25 million, which was proposed here in 2007, I think, and so far the only thing that's happened is they've spent $1 million and got nothing. And now they've determined,
$1 million on planning?
Yeah, that's what I understand. the current building has numerous earthquake risks here, and so they haven't come up publicly with the numbers to fix this. So I think that this building is actually no longer viable.
And so you're saying this building should go and a new one be built in its place?
I'm trying to be courageous, but I don't want to be too courageous here. I think that the activities of museums and art galleries would be better in the inner city, and I think there are better uses for this site than what's currently here.
Let's get back to Anderson Park. So that $877,000, you don't think that money should be spent?
Before that money is allocated, the council needs to have a closer look at Anderson Park. I know there's no lift there. I am sensitive to access for persons with disabilities. I think that the budget for Anderson Park upgrade should include those sorts of access facilities. There's been talk of millions of dollars worth of storage being required out there. There's been talk of the need for air conditioning if we've got valuable artworks. In fact,
you're talking a lot more money than $877,000.
Yeah, I think we should get the real number before we start spending anything.
We're talking about a couple of million, aren't we, or more?
Lots.
Lots of money. Where
Yeah.
from ratepayers?
Well, I'll make $10 donation, but I think I would like to see the budget for the latest plans at the museum, which I understand are available, the proper deal at the proper costing structure at Anderson Park, and a look at the other things in the inner city. I mean, if we're to have a viable inner city, I think, as I said in an article in the paper a while ago, the council need to encourage the ILT to just make a decision about where their hotel's going to go. And that should have some conference facilities with it. That should be near where the art goes. I mean, they're all interactive. But trying to throw $1 million at one house in the country isn't necessarily that wise.
So more cooperation, more consultation between groups?
No, some planning.
Sport follows the weather next. From the news team, it's good night.